Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to Gossip at the Corpse Cart,
Woo!
where your wine and crime hosts chat with a special guest about the worst things you've ever done, and some creepy shit, and some funny shit. Hopefully it's funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of why we're
the
here.
The headlines this month are strange and unusual.
I'm so excited. I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
And this month we have an incredibly special guest. I'm so excited that she responded to my cold email. Today we are welcoming Geo Rutherford, author, artist, content creator, lake expert. If you're familiar with, yes, hello, it's Spooky Lake Month.
Oh,
I can't do it. Obviously, Geo does a better job. But if that sounds familiar, you already know Geo. So Geo, welcome to the show.
welcome. God, I love using the soundboard. It's just so fun.
Thank you so much for putting up with us. Well, you haven't put up with anything yet.
Not yet. You said 90 minutes. I'm ready.
The timer is going.
You got a hard out.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. Talk to us about spooky lakes. Like what?
Yes.
How did you end up in this world of terrifying bodies of water?
Yeah, it was definitely an accident. Like one of those 2020 pandemic things where it just kind of like started as a little bit of a joke and then got out of control. And now it's kind of my career.
That is our entire career. Basically a bit that went too far and now there's no going back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. In 2020, I started doing TikToks, and I was one of those people that just had a viral TikTok out of the gate, and I kind of rode that wave. And it was really started with the Great Lakes because that's what my master's thesis was about Great Lakes, just pollution and invasive species. Not the fun stuff, but as a result, you end up researching shipwrecks and weird happenings and airplanes.
I got married on Lake Superior, officiated by the ghosts of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Perfect. I love that. That's the energy that I want to bring to my life.
Hell yeah.
Maybe first I need a partner, but I'm sure it'll work out.
You don't.
Just have a big, expensive party.
Yeah. Get married on the shores by myself.
Do it.
It's
We'll come.
Yeah.
So then Spooky Lake Month started in October of 2020. It was just by chance on October 2nd, I decided, you know what? There's a lot of weird lakes on the planet, like really weird lakes.
Lake Baikal.
Lake Baikal, which is the weirdest, by far, one of the weirdest lakes. I almost make a video about it every year for Spooky Lake Month, even though at this point, I kind of say the same thing so many times, but people still love it. Like
it's so
I
great.
can say the exact same stuff that I've said in every Lake Baikal video, and it still gets 1 million views every time. And I'm always like, guys, what's going on here? But we're just all fangirls of Lake Baikal. So
Absolutely.
I'm obsessed. What is so what makes it the spookiest lake? I'm obviously not up to date.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that Lake Baikal is the spookiest lake when it comes to like vibes of spookiness, but it's really strange. It's really a strange lake because it's over 5,000 feet deep. It's over 1 mile deep, and it's the deepest and oldest lake in the world. So it's over 25 million years old.
What the fuck?
I know. Did you not know about Lake Baikal? Is this your first? Wait a second. Is this your Lake Baikal indoctrination that's occurring right now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And she's so easily scared.
Over
this is
a mile
amazing.
deep?
It's over 1 mile deep. So it's like, just for comparison, Lake Superior at its deepest point is around 1,300 feet deep.
Yeah.
So
that
imagine
bitch
a lake
is deep.
that's 5,387 feet deep.
Where is this?
This is in Siberia.
Okay,
it's in the middle of Siberia,
okay.
Which is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it at least is somewhat protected, which it deserves to be. And it's a curse because if you're an American and you want to go to Russia, it's not going to happen. It's
but
not easy.
I don't want to go
I want to go so bad. I'm so ready to go. I want to go so badly. It'd be like the perfect trip. I don't have anybody scubas in Lake Baikal. Maybe a little bit, but I don't scuba. I snorkel, and snorkeling gives me heart palpitations. So I think scuba might be out for me. But
that's probably
maybe I would make it. Maybe I would make an exception to scuba to find the locomotives at the bottom of Lake Baikal because that would be really fun.
There's trains down there.
There probably are. There are probably trains down there because in 1904
what do you mean?
they
there
built
are probably trains down there.
Yep. So the surface of Lake Baikal is the size of Denmark, and in 1904 they built a train track across the lake on the ice. And this was like a wild thing to do because it's enormous. It was like a 42-mile train road, like train tracks that they built across the lake. And as a result, there's locomotives and train cars that went under at crossing it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's like people that are supposed have fell down there, and like it's crazy. Lake Baikal is crazy. But unlike Lake Superior and Lake Michigan and like we have this long history and record of what's going on in those lakes here in North America, it is way harder to find any information about Lake Baikal. It is like when I research it, I have to research it in Russian to be able to like properly try to find all of the strange stuff that happens there.
This is the magic of the internet, is because like you have this niche, deeply nerdy, science-y like thing that you love, that you studied and went to school for. And now this is your career, is to terrify people like me with lake facts.
Yeah.
Lakes are insane.
Yeah, they're crazy.
You got to catch up on all the spooky lake months.
Yeah, they're wild.
Nuts.
I'd say that
already scared of the ocean, and I live in the land of 10,000 lakes. Do I really want to be afraid of lakes?
I think lakes are every bit as scary as the ocean. Yeah, Geo's from Wisconsin.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
Well, this has been a great episode.
I love the argument between lakes in Wisconsin versus Minnesota, because Wisconsin likes to say they have more lakes than Minnesota, but they base their lake sizes on a much smaller acreage. So they say that their smaller lakes count towards that like overall count. So they're like, we have more than 11,000 lakes, which is what Minnesota has. But don't worry. Minnesota has more acreage of lake water than Wisconsin does. So Wisconsin doesn't really have that, doesn't win that contest. Even though we have more lines with Great Lakes, but nothing compares to like or to Michigan.
Well, to that I say, oh, good for you.
Well, I moved from Michigan to Wisconsin, and I have to say, no offense to Michigan, but Wisconsin's pretty cool. Like Wisconsin slaps. It's great. Especially I'm in the driftless region. Do you know what the driftless region is?
The driftless. Ooh, we have a driftless region in Minnesota too.
We all have a little bit of it, and it's creepy and weird and strange, and like the unglaciated sections of this part of the Midwest. And so I'm here. I was a fangirl of geology. The driftless region's a cool place to be.
Very cool. Lucy, you should definitely check that out because it's gorgeous. I went on like a sad girl road trip a couple of years ago.
No, I've been there. It's amazing.
We just stood on bluffs in the fall and screamed fuck out into the void, and then stopped at like every creepy roadside cemetery that we could find. It was literally perfect.
No, it's great. I love it.
I have one more lake question for you, Geo, before we move on.
Dive in.
I can't remember if it's like alkaline water or some kind of like different kind of water, but there's like warning signs if there's pools of this kind of water, don't go swimming because it actually
You're not buoyant.
Makes you sink. You're not buoyant at all?
Yeah, that's aerated water. But alkaline water is also really cool. So both of those types of water are awesome. But I actually did a video on this year, which was really fun because it was like an opportunity to educate about the way that where our poop goes. Because there's these huge vats of aerated water in our water reclamation and where I'm forgetting the word
like
for
processing thing.
What's
like
water
sewage?
Processing or sewage processing. And it's kind of fascinating because a lot of people don't know or understand how that works, but it's this fascinating process of how they clean the water that comes from your toilet, goes through this whole process and then comes out clean and is like redistributed into the water cycle, right? And a huge part of that has to do with aerated water.
Yeah, because then all the solids go to the bottom and it's probably easier to access the filterable water.
Kind of. At that point in the process, they actually pump a bunch of little tiny creatures into the water, bacteria and whatnot, to eat all the poop particles. And to give those little creatures air, they pump air through the water. So they aerate the water so that all the little creatures have oxygen to be able to properly eat all of the poop and fecal particles. And so people are always making a big like, oh, don't fall into those. You're going to die because you'll fall straight to the bottom, which is not entirely true. You do lose a little bit of buoyancy if you fall into aerated water. So that's true. You lose the ability to like easily travel and move through the water. But the biggest threat is actually the currents that you get in aerated water. So if you have currents plus aeration, then you're like,
fucked.
you're just way more unlikely to survive, which is the same thing that happens in like the Strid in Yorkshire, which is that river that everybody dies in. Have you heard of this? It's like
What?
the 100% mortality rate in the world is in. So like nobody has ever fallen into the Strid and lived to tell the tale. And that's because it's essentially, this 30-foot river channels in and shrinks to being less than 7 feet across, but all the same amount of water from the shallow river is now traveling through this, essentially what is a slot canyon in the rock. So it's this giant, tall, thin, skinny river. And so you have this churning current that's rushing and like super speed through this river passage. And you get aeration from all the bubbles that are generated from that. And if you fall in, you're essentially just going to get sucked in. You can't escape the currents. You can't escape this slippery, rocky channel, and your body could get trapped.
No, that's great.
In the crevices and all the cracks. Like some of them, it's like a washing machine. Your body could just be rotated forever inside of this like pocket in the rock underneath
Geo!
the river. I know.
You're the
You gotta
best
get behind
guest
Spooky
we've
Lakes.
ever
Spooky
had.
Lakes is like so exciting. Spooky Lakes is
Yes.
awesome because of anything. I joke that anything wet kind of qualifies for Spooky Lakes at this point. So anything that's like strange and could kill you and it's wet, you know.
Yeah, we got to get
qualifies.
into bog territory. Okay, this is my last
Yeah.
question. I promise I'm not going to just make you talk about lakes this whole time, even though
I might.
easily we could. So does like basically anywhere with like larger scale rapids have some element of natural aeration because of
Yes.
how much movement there is? So that also adds to why it's so hard to get out of fucking rapids.
Yep.
You lose
the
buoyancy,
aeration
you've got the
plus the
rushing
current. Yep. That's like Lowhead dams. We did Lowhead dams last year. Where, you know what a Lowhead dam is? It's like a weird, yeah, you do. You've seen them, but you just didn't know what you were looking at. Okay. So a Lowhead dam is in a river. It's like a short little dam. It has no purpose.
We have them
No
in downtown
freaking
Minneapolis over the Mississippi.
Yeah. They go like this. It's just a shallow little wall and the water goes over the wall and then it swirls here.
Yes.
And this is why it's called the death machine, the washing machine, right? And it's the same exact principle, right? Where you have all this aeration, you have all these bubbles, and you have this crazy current, and it just keeps you trapped forever and ever. So Lowhead dams kill more people than basically any other type of dam in the United States.
Kayaking on that shit, thinking
it's really
like,
dangerous.
Cool.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm
Well,
so
thanks.
jazzed.
I hate it, and I'm following you immediately.
My
Can't
COVID
believe
is
that I
gone.
wasn't because
I am not sick anymore. I'm so fucking
We're just
juiced up
shocking
over
you
this.
out of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
You just healed her from her afflictions. Well, cool. Thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah. Welcome to Spooky Lake Month.
Hell yeah.
31 days of haunted hydrology.
Oh my God.
I love that.
I loved hearing that.
So where can everybody find your Spooky Lake Month content?
Yeah, I
Because
feel like
I'm
at this
sure
point, if you just
everyone's
look
gonna
up
need
Spooky
this.
Lakes, you're gonna find me.
Great.
And
Tell us about your book too.
yeah, I got to make a book out of this, which was really fun. So I wrote and illustrated a book called Spooky Lakes.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was fun.
gonna-
It was for
I'm
like
gonna go
middle
buy it
school
right now.
kids, but it's what the thing I love about Spooky Lakes for me personally is it's all nonfiction.
Mhm.
So it's just the world being weird by herself and then people interacting with her and making things even worse. You know, like environmental disasters and shipwrecks are all us, but we're just getting wet, you know? So Spooky Lakes is a fun book. I'm working on Spooky Rivers right now. And so I'm kind of thinking about all the rivers of the world that are just trying to kill you all the time. And they're just weird and wacky. So it's really fun. It's been like a great journey for me as an artist because I was able to kind of incorporate science. My mom's a geologist with a bad sense of humor, which is why my name is Geo. And so I get to kind of incorporate science and education and art and all of these and horror and all the things I love kind of into one place.
I am reading a book about the Amazon right now. I cannot wait
Ooh.
for you to talk about the Amazon River.
That's in there. Yeah. I wasn't, if you find anything really spooky, let me know. I haven't written that one yet. I'm currently like working through it. I have the Boiling River. Do you know the Boiling River? It's the river that like kills everything that falls into it because it's boiling and no one really knows why.
No one knows
like
why.
Actually bubbling and boiling. It just doesn't make sense because we know that the water is percolating through the crust and getting superheated, but why in that location is that happening? We don't really understand that completely. So,
and then you posted a video recently about like red rivers, pink and red rivers.
That was a little bit I was trying to combat a little bit of the scare tactics that people use with red rivers because they happen all the freaking time. Like the red rivers are almost 99% of them are pollution. 99% of them are humans doing something terrible, like dropping dye or dropping chemicals or dropping iron into rivers, and then they temporarily turn red. But they are spooky. They look great. They're literally rivers of blood. And there are, I didn't mention that video, but there are instances where people just dump a lot of carcasses into a river and it turns it completely red as a result. So that's kind of
like animal carcasses.
Yeah, to be fair, animal carcasses. But there's points in history where they say that there's rivers of blood because of war occurring on a river and resulting in these like rivers of blood as people, who die in the river. So I think that happened in South Africa.
Ooh,
so yeah, could have kept going. That video was like cut in half, essentially. It could have kept going forever.
I know what rabbit hole I will be going down in my evening bath, in my evening water soak.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. Start with the Lake Baikal ones, okay?
Okay, I guess I will.
Or the one at the really high elevation in like the Himalayas where there's like bodies down there. Yeah,
Rupkund Lake, where they found over 400 skeletons, and they don't know how they ended up in the middle of the Himalayas.
That, Lucy, on GAC,
it's a good
Coroner Corner.
That was inspired by Spooky Lake Month.
Wow, amazing. I just can't get images of like the Polar Express careening across this Siberian river with all the little children going to see Santa, and then it just falls into the 5,000 foot abyss.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's still cracking open as we speak. Lake Baikal is pulling apart more and more every year and getting deeper.
And then the demons will come out. Okay, Geo. I have entered into an acute existential crisis as a result of your incredible research, and for that, I thank you.
Yes.
No problem. I'm here for
Genuinely.
it. I love it. I love indoctrinating everybody into being afraid of water. At least respectfully afraid.
Yes. Yeah. A respectful fear of water is very important for human survival. Reverence. Great.
Well,
okay,
with that,
welcome.
Amanda,
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was an incredible intro.
Yeah, I'm ready to bring the palate cleansers with my headlines this month, y'all.
Let's dive right in for your funny headlines.
This first one was sent in by Jordan, who says, here's one for Amanda. As a side note, a coworker of mine is Facebook friends with the guy in this story, and the guy posted a link to it on his own Facebook with the comment, guess I'm famous now. LOL. Anyway, enjoy. Would you like to take a guess as to what this man got famous for? Because I bet she can't. It does have to do with, I guess, water and cold.
Uh-oh. He froze something. He drove across a frozen lake.
Well,
he broke a hot tub.
Nope. Here we go. This is out of Alberta, Canada.
Oh,
the headline from
that's
the
all
Western,
we really need to know.
Right. From the Western, the Wisconsin of Canada.
It's going to be something sick.
It is. This is from westernstandard.news. Northern exposure. Man's penis freezes to ground outside Fort McMurray pub. The city has been called a sausage fest by critics. Fort McMurray Emergency Services recently had their hands full saving a man after his penis became frozen to a sidewalk during a confrontation. So the way this happened...
What? How long do you have to be laying there?
Well, it's very cold, and your genitals can be very moist. So I don't think it has to happen that fast, but... This reads to me I feel like we're missing something. This reads to me like people who come into the ER with something lodged in their rectum and they're like, I fell in the shower on top of this shampoo bottle and on top of this broomstick and now it's stuck there. So I want your take on this because I'm like, part of me is like, okay, I could see it. And part of me is like, how?
A lot of things have to fall into place.
Yes. This is like a Rube Goldberg machine of perfect coincidences that had to align to make this happen. On January 12th, an intoxicated man because this was at the pub, was involved in a dispute that initially took place inside the East Village Pub and Eatery. This was reported by TMZ, so you know it's legit. The argument spilled into the street and a fight broke out. During the altercation, the man's pants fell down, and I guess also his underwear. As he tumbled to the ground, his penis became stuck to the sidewalk due to the frigid temperatures. EMS managed to detach the man's penis from the ice without injury or inadvertent circumcision. What?
Oh, God.
As an intactivist, I would have been very sad.
Intactivist.
If his foreskin had been peeled away.
Oh.
He was arrested, but not charged with any crime. There's video.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'll make sure this goes somewhere. Oh no, it's just stills. Yeah, it's just stills of the EMTs. He's already on the ground. His ass is fully out, but it's blurred.
Disappointing.
But yeah, I am going to let me put some of these TMZ photos on the drive for you so you can get a feel for the chaos.
My Google response is, are penises different temperatures than the rest of the body?
I think they are.
They gotta be warmer. Well, it's next to the balls. The balls are what's hot, right?
I'm literally Googling it. I want to know.
The balls are what's hot, right? Question mark.
Says it. It says that a penis is generally warmer than the rest of the body.
I think that tracks. I think all of our genitals are probably generally a little cozier, a little cozier.
But when it's flaccid, the penile skin temperature is generally close to the rest of the body's surface temperature.
Well,
so I just thought because it's like separate, I kind of thought maybe it could get colder, but it seems it's like kind of it's crazy to believe that the warmth of the human body would not prevent that from happening. But then again, remember the kid who stuck his tongue on the pole.
Yeah, I just feel like it's Alberta, Canada. It was so cold that any moist thing was like immediately gonna stick.
Yeah.
So the video is after the incident had already taken place. So unfortunately, there isn't like CCTV of the altercation that can explain this to me. But yeah, looking at the photos are referenced. It took me to the TMZ article. It says the man in the clip got intoxicated and began arguing with people inside the pub. And then the altercation moved outside to the street where the guy's pants fell down while fighting with the bar's patrons.
Someone pantsed him.
I think possibly.
And then pushed him over, and then his dick froze to the side.
I think that's very possible. During the confrontation, the dude toppled to the ground and his penis attached to the ice.
Do you think that our boob could do that? Do you think a boob could get stuck to the ice? It's not moist the way a penis is.
I don't think it's as
I'm trying
moist.
to think of other extremities that...
If it was the under boob...
sometimes my underboob is moist, as is all of ours.
Right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is
swoob. I would
another
definitely
reason
stick to the sidewalk right now
to not overshave your genitals. Imagine if your lips.
Yeah, you'd have to be in like a crazy position though. Like, actually, I don't think that could happen to me solely because I can't do the splits in any way, shape, or form.
Kyle Richards doing the splits on an ice.
Yeah. You'd have to be like on a concrete bench of some kind on an angle.
Yeah, this is the case for the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a healthy barrier. That way your vagina won't get frozen to a cold sidewalk.
Yeah,
then your hairs could get frozen. You know when you took a deep breath and your nose hairs get all frozen? Like,
yes.
It could be
I
hate all of that. I hate all of that. But yeah, I guess they just used some warm water and unglued him from the sidewalk. So just be careful.
Did you guys see that viral video? That skunk that got stuck on a lake, got frozen to a lake, and then they like helped it by just pouring hot water around it and it got detached. That's exactly what happened to this man's penis.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
exact situation.
They freed
Exact
his skunk.
same.
They freed his pants skunk.
How did the skunk get stuck? Just his little feet?
I don't know. It was like one of those sad videos where there's like a little frozen skunk in the middle of the lake, and the mystery is how did this happen, and is he going to be okay? Type of energy. But
Spooky Lake Month content.
yeah,
Right there.
I get any type of lake that ever happens on the internet. I know about it. Like,
yeah, I believe it. I'm
Any
sure
type
you're
of lake
tagged in
situation.
so much
Yeah,
wet content.
yeah, it's great. I
Your
love it.
algorithm is just
My
water.
reposts
Drenched.
are you guys would like my reposts. It's a lot of spooky, weird stuff that's happening.
All right,
in that
I'm in.
world.
Well, speaking of spooky, weird stuff that's happening, this just terrified me. And you definitely have to see the photos to fully appreciate how gross this is and how the body can be affected by dietary choices, including, for people who want to stay fit by doing these like specific like keto or carnivore or whatever diets that are like pretty high in cholesterol, but like no carbohydrates. Anyway, I'm just going to dive in because I saw the photos and I was like, I want to throw up. I'm going to talk about this. Okay. So this is a Florida man, of course. It's out of Tampa. Patient's hands filled with cholesterol after he ate 6 to 9 pounds of cheese and butter for months.
Wait, 6 to 9 pounds like a day?
It doesn't say in the headline. Hopefully they give us more insight into the daily breakdown of this person's diet. So, okay, again, this is from WFLA.com. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and a patient at Tampa General Hospital found out the hard way when he overloaded on cheese and fats for his carnivore diet.
Oh, God.
An article published in JAMA Cardiology said a man in his 40s had been suffering from, quote, yellowish nodules on his palms, soles of his feet, and elbows after going on a carnivore diet for about 8 months.
Oh, my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah. So
all
this
of the
is
wrinkles in his hands are
have oozing
bright
like
yellow.
Cheeto cheese. And that would be on the bottom of his feet, on the back, on his elbows. Like, I cannot.
Do you think it's squishy? That was my first thought. Like, do you think that there's like a squish
Ma'am.
factor? That's what I wanted to know immediately. I always want to know like the autopsy type of energy.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Oh,
going
I'm
on physically?
zooming in.
This feels like a call to be posted on the subreddit Eat It, You Coward, or Taste It, You Coward. Like, I kind of
Ew.
want to know, it looks like sharp cheddar is
It does
melting
look-
out of his hand.
It does look squishy. It's
Yeah, like,
right.
can
It's
you pop
elevated.
it?
Stop.
Can you like?
I bet if you
give it a
could-
little lance, what happens?
Just butter leaks out. It's a movie theater popcorn butter. Give it a little lance.
I fucking hate you both so
I
much.
just want to know. I just want to know what I like. This is an
Well-
opportunity for experimentation.
No, you're sick. You're depraved. You're sick.
No.
You're depraved.
I'm
both
on
of you.
Geo's side with this.
You got a science brain. You got to go science brain it.
Yeah.
God damn. No, I don't have
I would
that.
have made a great whatever they're called, the people who do autopsies.
Pathologist.
Oh.
Yeah. No, not afraid at all. Want to know is, will it pop?
So
I
of
think
course,
you and I could be really good friends.
yeah, and I'm scared of this friendship. So doctors kind of like swooped in to be like, well, we're definitely writing a case study article. We're publishing about
Yeah,
this
'cause
because this
this
is the
is
fucking
grotesque.
wildest, gnarliest shit I've ever seen. So this is from that paper. Quote, the patient adopted a carnivore diet approximately 8 months before presentation. This is from the abstract. His dietary habits included a high intake of fats consisting of 6 to 9 pounds of cheese, sticks of butter, and additional fat incorporated into his daily hamburgers.
Sticks of butter.
Initially, the man said he experienced weight loss, increased energy, and mental clarity, but he ended up having to go to Tampa General after his limbs began showing painless nodules. The JAMA article found that the patient's cholesterol level exceeded 1,000 milligram per DL, so milligrams of cholesterol per deciliter of blood, a massive increase from his baseline of 210 to 300, which is like more in the normal. Like your cholesterol being around 200, I feel like is normal, and his was over 1,000.
I'm surprised it wasn't more.
Okay, a healthy individual.
Fat? I want to know that.
I don't know.
Like if this man went for a run, what happens?
He smells really good. Like that episode of
smells
Seinfeld
like a
where
turkey.
Kramer's that turkey.
Yes.
That's what he smells like.
For reference, the Cleveland Clinic states that a healthy individual should have a total cholesterol level of like 200 or lower. You want to keep it under 200. The patient was eventually diagnosed with a condition known as
Dumbassery.
xanthelasma, the buildup of cholesterol under the skin forming yellow growths that usually appear in the corners of the eyelids. 50% of people who develop xanthelasma have high cholesterol levels, typically occurring in people between 35 and 55 years of age. The condition is associated with high risks of heart disease and atherosclerosis.
I feel like if different parts of your body started turning neon yellow, you might consider not eating nothing but cheeseburgers and butter.
I don't know. I
sounds
don't
like
Did
know.
his
just
diet
kept
change
going.
after this event? That's the other thing I want to know. Like,
I
did he
believe
go
so.
on like
He's a vegan.
Yeah.
But you can't, it says here, you can't actually treat this with change in your diet alone.
Oh, God.
Xanthelasma does not go away on its own and must be treated either through surgery or other therapeutic methods. Even
See,
then,
they're popping them. They're
Oh,
popping
God.
them. They're just cutting them.
Dr. Pimple
I'm
Popper.
telling you, they're draining those things.
Even then, they can
Lance 'em.
reoccur if cholesterol levels are not down to a healthy level. So yeah, he had to have. So I'm glad they're answering this question because I was like, what the fuck is a carnivore diet and how did this happen? It says Harvard Health defines a carnivore diet as a ketogenic diet that, quote, only allows of meat, poultry, eggs, seafood, fish, some dairy products, and water. So I think he was kind of overdoing it on the some dairy products.
Yeah. I did that in what, 2015?
Who didn't?
It was crazy. Yeah, we went to the movie theater. This is the part where this is where I broke. I was like, this is a really dumb diet. We went to the
Popcorn.
movie theater, and my mom was like, okay, we're gonna get hot dogs. And I was like, oh my God, I love hot dogs. That sounds so exciting. Like a hot dog with bun, right? And like with a little bit of mustard and ketchup.
You
Absolutely
can't have
not.
the
She
bun on a
pulled-
keto diet.
Yeah, no, she pulled that hot dog out of the bun and just started eating it in the theater. And I just sat there and stared at my perfectly good hot dog and was like, I don't
I'm not
want to do
doing
this.
that.
This is so depressing. This is
Yeah.
the most depressing thing. I mean, I lost 50 pounds, but still, it was not worth it. And then you just gain it back if you try to. Wow, I'm sorry. This is not a diet podcast. My apologies.
No,
but
no,
it
certainly
keto
isn't.
is fascinating. Like but not to this extent. This is
No.
disgusting.
It is wild, like how much your body, this is going to sound so stupid, how much your body is affected by what you consume. But not only that,
yeah.
but on like a chemical balance level, like getting down to the nitty gritty kind of stuff. But at the same time, if you completely cut like fruits and vegetables out of your diet,
Yeah, it's
the
balance
fuck?
is key.
yeah.
Most ketogenic or keto diets recommend consuming healthier fats like unsaturated fats, but carnivore diets push for the consumption of saturated fat, which raises LDL cholesterol. This seems like a bad idea.
I was going to say, I ate a lot of broccoli, so I was not on this particular trend. But
The diet
yeah.
is marketed on the belief that human ancestors ate mostly meat and cheese. Okay. Anthropologists, right, cited by National Geographic, said that while meat eating played a major role in human evolution, hunter-gatherers had a much more omnivorous diet, balancing fruits, leaves, and animal products. With the exception of Arctic indigenous groups, most people do not eat animal products exclusively. Obviously, areas where produce and like leafy greens are not going to grow, then they're going to eat more, like they're going to eat a lot of fish and a lot of meat, like animals that can survive in those conditions. But yeah, hunter-gatherers were also eating a fucking salad every once in a goddamn while.
I mean,
Some
what do you
fucking
think
berries.
like foraging is? You're not foraging
Yes.
meat. And this bizarre like caveman revisionist history that a lot of people seem to have, it's giving like white MAGA.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like we were never that cool. You
No.
weren't going out hunting mammoths with your spear and then grilling and then eating big mammoth legs.
It's part of this attempt to reclaim masculinity.
Well-
just like naming Gulf of Mexico, Gulf
Yes.
of America.
They
They're
actually-
giving the same energy.
They addressed this in this study. Quote, there's been a consistent story about hunting defining us and that meat made us human. Frankly, I think that misses half of the story. They want meat, sure, but what they actually live on is plant foods. Henry also told the publication she found evidence of starch granules from plants on teeth and stone tools, which implied that humans have been eating grains and tubers for 100,000 years. So yeah, this whole like idea that real early humans just like survived on meat alone is literally
Ridiculous.
False.
Yeah.
It's not fucking true. It's also worth noting that while the carnivore diet promotes eating some dairy products as part of the diet, about 68% of the world's human population has a reduced ability to digest lactose, also known as lactose malabsorption or intolerance after infancy. Other risks of a carnivore diet include kidney stones, gout, and osteoporosis. So you could be oozing butter from your very pores, and you could also like ruin your bones and be peeing shredded.
Powder your bones.
Yeah. Let's not. Okay, I feel like this next headline could be connected in a way to the carnivore diet because I feel like this would fuel her petty actions. This is from HuffPo. Welsh woman pleads guilty to sending fart videos to boyfriend's ex.
I saw this story.
I saw this too. Yep. Amazing.
Rhiannon Evans admitted sending at least 8 videos to Deborah Prythurch where she passed gas directly into the lens. Just farted at her. Evans sent at least 8 videos to Deborah where she could be seen laughing while placing a camera on her bottom and then passing gas directly into the lens.
But not like bare butthole, right?
I don't know. I stopped after the headline
Okay.
so that we could
If
experience
it was
this
bare
together.
butthole, it might kind of justify being like, this is harassment, but ending up being harassment just for farting is more
Yeah.
ridiculous than the
Also,
farting itself.
She got in like real trouble for it, which is
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's pleads guilty implies she went to court. I'm actually I'm adding a photo because these let's just be honest, shitty news outlets have so many fucking like ads and stuff on the margins of their articles. And one of the ads is literally perfect. It's like a WikiHow cartoon of someone just like spreading their legs and putting their ass up.
frequent urination and weak stream.
Do this before bed. Directly into the camera. Apply directly to the forehead. Okay,
Perfect.
quote, it was
I hope that's what it looked like.
It was purely malicious. She was smirking throughout, found it hilarious, but the victim didn't. Prosecutor Diane Williams
Victim.
reportedly told the court about Evans' gas attacks. Williams said that when Evans was arrested at her home, she admitted to sending the videos to Deborah and claimed it was because, quote, she felt her partner was being treated unfairly. Evans' defense attorney, Harriet Gorst, told the court that there have been, quote, some issues between Prythurch and Evans' boyfriend over a child contract, so custody. So this is like the ex/baby mama. And so the new girl is taking out her revenge with fart videos. I don't know. Quote, at the time she sent these videos, she had some drinks and she sent them, understanding now that this has caused the victim some distress. She sent them without malicious intent. Prythurch said in a victim statement to the court that she, quote, would like to feel safe in my home. Get over it. They're farts.
Come on.
Evans' fart videos may have helped her vent her emotions, but they hurt her bank account. She was
Vent
found
her emotions.
She was fined around $373, including $124 in compensation to Deborah. The court ordered Evans to attend 15 rehabilitation sessions, abstain from drinking for 2 months, and avoid contacting Deborah for 2 years. She got like a fart restraining order.
Oh my God.
I know.
Where was this?
Insane.
Welsh.
In England.
It's in England.
Oh, that
So-
explains it.
I just picture the whole thing now with British accents, and it kind of adds to the.
It causes
to
some distress.
I wonder if the fart had a British accent.
I was
'cause that
just
would be
gonna
really
ask
entertaining.
that. It's just every time a British person farts, it's just, hello, governor. Just out of your asshole.
Spotty.
Spotty. All right, I've got one more because you know I can't do a Gossip at the Corpse Cart run of headlines without some funny animal news. So I'm going to leave us with this amazing animal moment. This is from animalsaroundtheglobe.com. Mountain lion that made school go into lockdown turned out to be a fat cat eating a rat.
With a black hat on its rack.
In the small town of Moses Lake, Washington, an ordinary day at Groff Elementary School took a surprising turn. A routine morning transformed into a scene of mild alarm as reports of a mountain lion sighting near the school grounds emerged. This initial concern triggered a swift and cautious response from the school administration, prioritizing the safety of the students and staff in what appeared to be a potentially dangerous situation. Following safety protocols, the school was promptly placed under lockdown. The sight of a mountain lion was taken seriously, given the setting in the Pacific Northwest, a region familiar with wildlife encounters. Sorry, this is
And
air
fat
bubble.
cats.
Yep. However, as the situation unfolded, the true nature of the threat revealed itself. The supposed predator was a large, plump cat engaged in a rather commonplace activity, eating a rat. This unexpected turn of events at Groff Elementary highlights the importance of preparedness in the face of unforeseen situations. It also sheds light on the interactions between urban environments and wildlife, emphasizing the need for awareness and coexistence with our natural surroundings. Maybe awareness of the difference between a bobcat and a fat house cat, like outdoor cat eating a rat, would also be good here, so that we don't completely disrupt the school day for a cat and a rat.
I would love for one of my days to be interrupted by a fat cat that I just have to watch. Well, wait, I live with one.
Yeah, you do. After the revelation, the school resumed its normal activities. The day's events provided the students with an extraordinary story to share, a reminder of the unpredictable nature of everyday life and the value of a quick, cautious response to perceived dangers. This incident will undoubtedly remain a memorable anecdote for the Moses Lake community. Okay, animalsaroundtheglobe.com.
Overwrought
I know!
article I've ever heard.
I love it, but I love that an entire school locked down over just a cat that was too fat. It's just fat enough to be scary for
Ate
like a
too
second.
many rats.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rat thing actually makes me a little more nervous. Like, how many rats are hanging out near this school? Rats are scary. Rats are more scary than, in some cases, mountain lions.
I feel like in the Midwest, we don't really deal with that much rat activity. We're more of a mouse region because it does get really cold here. Rats don't love it. Like, there are rats here, but they're just, it's not. But in places like, even slightly milder climates, fucking New York, holy shit.
We did a whole rat crimes episode that we did in Brooklyn, New York. You'd love that. A rat king. Yep. Are you familiar?
I've heard. Yep, I'm familiar with the tales.
Rats are like a thing in the Pacific Northwest. Like, there are definitely rats in Seattle. It's warm enough for them to be chilling there, and then there's a ton of food sources.
Yeah.
So
but
good
still,
for the cats.
Rats strike me as so giant. I know they're not all giant, but they strike me as giant. And so then imagining a cat trying to kill a rat is just.
Well, if it's a cat big enough to be mistaken for a bobcat.
Noticed as a mountain lion.
Yeah. But also.
And a sick rat. Already
can this
sick.
Please serve as a reminder that domesticated cats should be kept indoors. If this is some sort of stray situation, no hate. I don't know if this is somebody's pet that they let be an outdoor cat. But this is a hill that I will die on. Yeah. Having cats be outdoor animals is so bad for your local ecosystem. It's not good for your cat. They could get into so much crazy shit. They could get hit by cars. It's just
drink
not
antifreeze.
It's not the move. It's not the move.
Speaking of the worst invasive species that you have on your, besides us, I think our cats are maybe come next.
Yeah, and I fucking love my cats, but I keep them indoors. But Beans goes outside, but only on her leash in my yard. She's not an outdoor cat.
You can give them a little outside treat here and there, but
of course, in their tent, you got. But that's different from a cat that's just free roaming outside at
Especially
all
with the
hours.
bird flu right now, it's a really dangerous.
Yes, and they can bring that into your house, y'all. Please don't do that.
One time, my neighbor called us, and she was like, "Can you have Corey come over and deal with something in my backyard?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming too, because this sounds really ominous, and I'm definitely
exciting.
there." It was a squirrel that had just been eviscerated, disemboweled, None of it was gone or eaten or like munched on.
Just shredded apart.
It was just down the belly.
That's got cat murder written all over it. And then they
It
leave
was
it as a
definitely
present.
cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Nasty.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my soapbox moment about cats. And if you have funny headlines, please head to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com, and go to contact us. There's a drop-down menu that reads funny headlines. Pop it in there so I know that it's for me. And thank you to everyone who sent in some glorious headlines this month.
Yes.
Now let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors and then pass the mic to Geo for Coven Confessions.
Hell yeah.
This episode of Wine and Crime is brought to you by Wild Grain, and Wild Grain is amazing. It's the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, pastas. They've got cookies. They've got croissants.
Stop.
They're so good. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that's 100% vegan. So, like, everybody can get in on this. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. Listen, I'm not making bread from scratch.
I'm consistently surprised at how you could just take it out of the freezer, stick it in the oven, and it's ready
it's like-
so fast.
And it's like beautiful. Like, it's sourdough that like passes the knock test.
Yep.
Like, it's so good.
Buttery, flaky croissants.
Oh my God. I had an ADHD, like, I can only eat this one thing for like a week with BLTs just a little bit ago. And I
remember
baked a
that.
whole loaf of focaccia, cut it down the middle, cooked up my bacon, slathered on my mayo, my lettuce, my tomatoes. And I had like a foot-long sandwich. It was
Delicious
incredible.
foot-long sandwich.
And it took me 25 minutes because I cooked the bacon while the bread was baking.
Genius.
And it was done. Like, what?
It's so
Obsessed.
good. I spontaneously baked their cookies the other morning
You have to.
because I had a craving for chocolate chip cookies at 10 a.m. And I was
And
like,
they're right
well,
there in your freezer.
This is going to take me less than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/gals to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/gals. That's wildgrain.com/gals, or you can use promo code GALS at checkout.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack sponsor. And I got to tell you, my husband is a coffee addict, and he makes his coffee like jet fuel. Like, it's so strong. And I literally cannot drink it, but I need a boost in the morning too. So I just reached for IQ Joe. This is a jitter-free coffee that has natural caffeine. It boosts my focus and mood with its magnesium and lion's mane blend, and doesn't give me all of the like jitters and the like sour
Anxiety
stomach
feeling.
Yes, that really strong coffee can give me while still giving me like that nice little boost of energy. So I'm telling you, start this new year off right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all three. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off all IQ Bar products, and plus get free shipping.
Yeah, this ultimate sampler pack is
It's the best.
It's a great way to start your IQ bar journey. In the sampler pack, you get 7 IQ bars, 4 IQ mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks, Amanda's favorite.
Oh, so good.
All of these products are entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, artificial sweeteners, and their flavors. Let me just tell you, there are 9 of them, including mint chocolate chip,
Yum.
chocolate sea salt, hello, my favorite, banana nut, toasted coconut chip, lemon blueberry,
That's my favorite of the bars.
peanut butter chip.
It's so good.
Unbelievable. And these mixes come in a bunch of different flavors too. Passion fruit, pina colada, peach mango, blueberry pomegranate, and more.
And there's 0 sugar.
It's incredible. This is going to be an excellent addition to your morning.
Heck yeah. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get your free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text GALS to 64,000. Text GALS to 64,000. That's GALS to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Y'all, I literally only made like one reasonable New Year's resolution this year, and that was to order less delivery food. As you know, I do not love to cook. I feel like it takes too long and it's really, really messy. And by the time I'm hungry, it's like, I just want to press a button. But Every Plate has totally changed my entire perspective on that because the recipes are so easy. They're quick. It comes faster. It's done faster than you would be waiting for delivery. I'm telling you, I'm promising you right now. And you can actually feel good about what you're eating and spending on food. And even if you're busy or you don't like to cook, like this is the way to get your foot in the door on a little bit of cooking with Every Plate.
Yeah, it like teaches you how to cook in new ways.
It's so easy.
Every Plate can help you dish up better habits with delicious, easy recipes delivered to your door, including new calorie smart, carb smart, and protein smart options. I also love their Smart Swap recipe feature. So you can swap out things like flour tortillas for lettuce wraps or white rice for lettuce or potatoes for sweet potatoes to make just meals a little bit better for you.
Oh, this type 1 diabetic girly is like obsessed with those easy swap outs because I can't really eat tortillas and a lot of rice.
No, exactly.
No.
So skip the store and enjoy wholesome homemade meals that cost less than groceries.
And start with 50% off your first box with code GALS50 at everyplate.com/podcast. Every Plate offer valid with auto-renewing subscription.
Okay, we're back and ready to hear some Coven Confession cold reads by Geo. None of us have read these.
Nope.
Oh.
So
Andrea
we're
pulled
gonna
them for you specifically, so let's see what we have in store for all of us today.
My confession is definitely not the worst thing I've ever done, but it's probably the most morbid. When I was about 3, maybe 4 years old, my maternal great-grandfather passed away. I don't remember meeting or interacting with him except for this one time. So it's kind of funny that this is the only memory I have of him. Great.
Oh, God.
Love it. This funeral was not like a normal funeral where they have visitations before the actual church service. They ended up having a partial visitation and service on the same day at the church. With that said, the layout of the church was a little weird. When you first walked into the double doors of the church, there was a little foyer and then another set of double doors. In the little foyer where my great-grandfather's open casket was sitting, and my family was lined up right after that. I didn't really say that right, but that's okay. So when people came in, they would say goodbye to my great-grandfather and they would pay their respects to my family. After everyone was done, there was a brief couple of minutes before the service started. I was standing there in the foyer with my mother, my grandfather, and another person who I can't remember. Was this the dead grandfather?
No, the great-grandfather is dead. The grandfather is alive.
Got it. Okay. Following the bouncing ball here.
We got this.
They were all talking about something, and as a typical child, I got bored of the conversation. I ended up walking off and found myself in front of my dead great-grandfather's casket.
Lucy coded.
Now you're probably thinking that a child would be horrified by seeing a dead elderly person in a casket. Nope, not me. Not Lucy.
Not Lucy.
I was fascinated by him. I was so fascinated, in fact, that I started to poke and play with his face.
Oh,
no.
After a few minutes, I thought that I would tell my mom about the new game I discovered. I ran back to my mother and with delight said, Mommy, come and look. I then ran back over to my dead great-grandfather and started poking and playing with his eyelid.
No!
I hope an eye cap came out.
Uh-oh. My mother was horrified, to say the least, and told me to stop immediately. I don't remember anyone's facial expression or facial reaction except for my grandfather's, which was one of pure and utter shock.
Here I was. Dad.
Yeah. Here I was, his sweet granddaughter, pulling at his beloved dead father's face.
No!
I stared back at them in confusion because I didn't know what I had done wrong.
Yeah, what? What's the problem? He's squishy.
I hope my story gives you joy and makes you laugh. My family still talks about how I accosted my great-grandfather's dead corpse.
Oh my God. They charged the 4-year-old with like What is
Desecration.
it? Desecration of a
Yeah.
corpse.
That's terrifying.
No.
At least
Have you guys ever have you seen a body in a casket before?
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
touched one.
Oh, did you? Their
Yeah.
eyelid, Lucy?
No,
Was it
just
their eyelid?
their hands.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah,
too
it's
old
very
to
creepy.
go straight for the face. I probably would have.
Yeah.
It is
If you were
creepy. Like the
younger.
dead, cold, flat touching a
Yeah.
dead body is very weird.
And they don't look
Yeah.
human. Like an open casket, preserved, prepared body. Like it looks
Yeah.
fake. Like it looks like a
It's like
doll.
Uncanny Valley.
Yes, it's very fucking weird. It's very fucking
I
weird.
love it.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about the lengths that they go to make people look normal.
Yeah.
And then if you know too much about that, it's very weird to be standing in front of them and be like, wow, you're full of formaldehyde.
I'm
That's so weird.
genuinely so glad that my dad died like over 10 years ago and he was cremated right away. So like we didn't have a service right away. But then when we did have a service, there was no body. I would not have wanted to see that.
Yeah.
I'm like so
Do you guys-
grateful.
Do you guys follow Ask a Mortician on YouTube?
Yes.
Yup.
Okay, I was just checking because her stuff is amazing, and I love her kind of discussions on the way that the funeral industry has capitalized on our relationship with immediate death, like right after someone dies.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fun. So, well,
Yeah, just
fun to an extent.
Pushing
I told my
through
mom,
a-
I was like, you're going to be on the dining room table naked after you die, just because that's what Caitlin says that you're supposed to do on Ask a Mortician. My mom was like, all right, I'm here
Done.
for that.
Cool. I'll
And
put it in
her
my
Why?
directive.
Just to save money on,
No, it has to do with like the relationship that you have with death. Like you have to kind of embrace and understand, or it's the impossibility of death in the mind of someone living, right? It's kind of this way
So you
that
like
we
have
need
to see it to process it.
yeah, and that you just like taking someone's body away immediately is not necessarily a healthy way to kind of to deal with death. Not saying that there is a right or wrong way. Everybody
Right.
has different beliefs and understandings, but her specifically her video on like what is a better way to approach death, especially for someone who's really close to you, like a mother or father or a loved one, and how some ways that people used to do that to have death in their house.
Oh yeah, I mean, sitting Shiva is a cultural experience. Like I respect it, and I think for me personally, I would not have wanted to experience that, but I wonder how that could have changed like the pathway of my grieving process if I had gotten to see him. I don't know, but I can't change it now.
There's a
at least
couple
I have
people-
only living health, like moderately healthy memories of him.
There's a couple people that I know who were dying, and they / their partners threw a party. They were in like their palliative care bedroom, like actively dying. They had all their friends over. Their friends came in and said their goodbyes, and then they died while there were still people at the party. And then they just kind of waited till the
We got
next
to do
morning
that with Jessica.
cart them away.
And I think that was a really like special part of the process. It wasn't a party. I mean, she was on life support, but
In the
was,
hospital.
Yeah, but it was like it was a valuable part of the process of saying goodbye to her. And then her funeral was open casket, so we really did get to like see her through all the stages of our memory of her as like both a young youthful person and then a sick person and then a dying person and then a deceased person. But yeah, I mean, the customs are interesting and they're going to be different for everybody. And it's just
I like-
But still poking at your dead grandfather's eyelid is still probably not.
It was part of the process.
Everyone grieves differently, Geo.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right.
Picking at the
it's
eye-
probably
Mommy, look.
in some cultures beliefs, so you're probably not that far off from somebody's relationship with grief
They're fine.
and death.
Yeah. There's
All
no
right,
right way.
what do we got next here? Uh-oh.
Oh, do I read the next one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's all you,
I'm paying
babe.
attention. I'm following the bouncing ball. You see me? I was like waiting. I was like,
You're
yeah,
doing great.
what's happening? Okay, here we go. Okay. Ooh, in Wisconsin, appropriate.
Uh-oh.
My first teaching job was in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, a super wealthy, fancy community near the Illinois border. This community was home to many mansions owned by the Chicago elite. I was really sad to leave the area when I accepted a job closer to where I grew up. On my last night there, I had a large bonfire and invited a bunch of people over to bid farewell and see you later. Sorry, I said that weird. As you do at bonfires, I got a little drunk on PBR.
Hell yeah.
The next morning, I woke up extremely hungover and feeling a little sad and nostalgic about leaving. I felt the need to run my normal morning route one last time.
Never a good idea.
It was a beautiful route that went past all the large mansions along the lake. This is actually one of the best secrets of Lake Geneva, but just so you know, there's like a walking path through all of these mansions' front yards. It's so cool.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool. It's right along the edge of the lake, and it's this designated path. It's so long too. It's like this giant, because it's a big lake, right? It's the coolest path.
Cool. All right.
As I ran, I started to feel better, and I thought I was going to be okay, and my hangover was behind me. However, one of the side effects of drinking cheap beer is the beer shits.
Sure is.
Oh, no.
A few miles into my run, a familiar feeling hits my guts, and I knew I had to go now.
Oh, God.
I was about a mile away from the nearest public restroom and about 2 miles away from my home. I was getting the shit sweats, and I began to shake, knowing that my asshole could no longer hold back the torrent much longer.
Get in the water, bitch. Get in the water.
The way that I empathize with this person right now is like so strong.
We can take a break whenever you need to.
Just in case I gotta go. Yeah.
If you get the sweats, we're not going to
just start looking for the perspiration on my forehead.
Yep.
To the left of me was one of the very fancy mansions and a large granite wall about 4.5 feet high. Behind the granite wall was a row of hedges. I love where this is going. Oh. I did some quick poop math and figured that I could hoist myself over the wall. If I could hoist myself over the wall, I could drop between the hedges and the wall would conceal me and the liquid hot sewage that was pushing against my brown eye.
Okay.
Wow. It's creative writing here.
The pros.
This is beautifully
I love
written.
it.
This is
In one motion, I jumped over the wall, dropped on the other side, pulled down my running shorts, and enacted what I can only imagine looked like an upside down shit volcano.
Oh my God.
Wow. I love the descriptions here. Yep. Almost reflexively, I had let out a low guttural moan and said, "Oh my fucking God." I was then startled by yelling coming from behind me. As I turned around, I realized a couple of things. One, the hedge that I thought concealed me had foliage that stopped around 2 feet above the ground, leaving everything I did wide open.
No.
And two, there was a crew of Spanish-speaking groundkeepers who were yelling at me, telling me God only knows what.
Oh, God.
In my horror and shock, I tried to stand up and pull up my shorts. However, the waistband of my shorts still somehow migrated under the heel of my shoes. So when I yanked my shorts, I tumbled into my pile of soft PBR shit.
Oh my God.
You should have run to the lake. What were you thinking?
The groundkeepers kept yelling at me, now fully crying and full of shit. Oh, wait. As the groundkeepers kept yelling and me now crying and full of shit, I scrambled back over the wall like a dumpster squirrel and ran as fast as I could back home. I promptly showered and threw away my poop-covered clothing.
Oh, my God.
All of the places I've ever taken a rogue poop, or of all of the places I've ever taken a rogue poop, this was by far the worst.
Yeah, babe.
I would have called 911 on myself.
Yeah.
Lo siento.
What's the weirdest place you guys have taken a rogue poop? Have you guys taken one in front of a mansion in front of Lake Geneva?
Amanda's got a story.
I took one in a water wicking ditch on the side of the Jersey Turnpike. Oh. In a similar move, you get on, you kind of crab on your back with your butt facing the ground, and it just came out of me, and I had some mouthwash and tissues in my bag. So I used those to clean me up. And
you used mouthwash?
Yeah, that's all I had. And then we got to a gas station and I finished cleaning myself properly. But I kept some of the mouthwash in my bag thinking, okay, if I can't make it to the gas station, I have to do this again. I want to have a little backup sanitation. and it
The
spilled
alcohol.
out and broke my iPod color that I had spent all of my babysitting money on. So
iPod color.
Dang.
Really
That's
a
why
bad
you can never
day.
forget about this because that iPod will haunt you.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yep. Not in anybody's
Brutal.
hedges, and anyone driving by, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I can't. This is in a weird place, but the worst I've ever had to shit was on vacation. Of course, you're traveling, you're on vacation. The poops come at bizarre intervals and intensities.
Yep.
We were in Paris, the suburbs of Paris, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. Everything was closed. All of a sudden, I had to shit so bad that it hurt. And also, I just burst into tears. And like
Oh.
everything was closed. And I couldn't move and I couldn't breathe. And I just started pouring sweat. And somehow I made it to the fanciest hotel you've ever fucking seen in your life.
Oh God! Oh no!
And shit in their lobby. And it was like, it was so fancy. There was like
the
your own-
bathroom in their lobby.
Yes.
Okay.
What did I say?
Luckily,
You just said
not
shit in
the
their lobby. Yeah.
I shit the
I took
bathroom of
that
their
for-
lobby.
Yeah, with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so fancy. It was like marble everything. There was a sink in each individual stall.
Hey,
like that's
you
how
were-
fancy it was.
The poop gods shined on you for holding it. You got this really lovely bathroom.
Really did. And I had hemorrhoids too.
Oh,
so like
God.
that if you're pooping when you have hemorrhoids, then that also makes
painful.
it and it just
Yeah.
comes on really quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, I was very, very
Yeah.
blessed because I would have just completely and
Fallen
thoroughly
apart.
shit myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined for constipation. Like I'm the kind of person who'll go on a trip and then won't go to the bathroom for like 7 days. And it's like
Can't poop on
becomes
vacation
a
club.
medical, it becomes like a medical mystery.
Yeah.
Not me.
And if I have to go to the bathroom, but the only option is in a public restroom, that poop will just like suck right back up into me.
Mhm.
The sweats will recede, and I just refuse to be in that situation.
Your body
my
decides
body
not
is like
to.
absolutely not. Our social anxiety is too much for this.
I
Like,
used to
can't
be a
handle it.
nervous public bathroom peer and pooper. Lucy used to have to run the water for me to start peeing in a public bathroom.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There was like a moment in time where all the shame, just capacity for shame left my body. And now I've
I need
shit
that
so
to
many
happen to me.
places.
It's the second you turned 30, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me. Maybe 40 will give me the freedom to not be embarrassed about
It
pooping in
feels
public
good.
places.
It feels
Yeah.
good.
Well,
It
because
takes a
who
lot of
really
training.
cares?
Who really cares? Everybody shits.
I try to tell myself that, and yet my body is like, no, you actually can't have this. Like, you're not allowed to have this poop.
I feel bad if my shit is not as quiet as I would want it to be in a public restroom. Because it's like, I'm shitting here. You're already being subject to that. I don't need you to hear my farts either.
Yeah.
Like, that's just,
Yeah, but
that
sometimes
makes
like
me feel
that is
bad.
uncontrollable.
There's nothing I can do about it.
You know,
and I have
Nothing we can do.
apologized audibly in a public
Yeah. Oh my
restroom.
God, I'm so
Oh
sorry.
my God.
Yep.
Last week, I was in Costa Rica last week, but the week before, for some reason, I ate roasted cauliflower for almost every single meal.
Yum. But
Delicious.
yikes.
Mhm.
And so then we went on a plane,
Oh no.
and when we landed, I went to the bathroom, and it was like a symphony.
Mm.
Nothing actually came out, but it was just
Just gas.
Ooh.
varying
air.
tones.
Wow.
It was kind of impressive.
You were an
Yeah.
entire horn section.
I felt like a completely new person. I felt like I was half the width
I bet.
body wise is
'Cause
when
the
I went
bloat,
in there.
The gas bloat is a real
Yeah.
thing.
It was
Fart it out,
wild.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cauliflower.
Better out than in.
All right, you've got another one for us.
Oh, I do? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. I like the title of this one.
Read it.
Oh, it is the TikTok shopping shenanigans.
Oh, no.
I'm one of those. I have to preface this by saying that if there's a TikTok shop little bubble on my TikTok, I won't watch the video.
I
refuse. I
skip
won't
a lot
engage
of
with
TikTok
it.
If the
shop.
creator receives funds
I'm out.
or if they're selling something, it's an immediate
I
scroll
think it's
from
like
me.
who said this? I think Hank Green was talking about how like before TikTok, the TikTok ban made us all like have nostalgia for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was kind of on the same mindset that TikTok shop was ruining it anyway.
Yep.
My sister lives in Canada and she doesn't have to deal with that.
Oh,
She doesn't have to
lucky.
deal with those videos. And I'm like, come on. It's the worst. Okay, sorry. Apologies. Here we
No,
go.
don't apologize. We agree.
This person is a day one listener, but a first time writer. Here it goes.
Oh, God. Okay.
My girlfriend and I recently celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and I couldn't ask for a better partner. Everything is great, except I can't orgasm.
Oh, no.
Thanks, SSRIs.
Oh, the worst.
Oh.
Yeah. We are always keeping things exciting, so one day we can hopefully spark it. Our anniversary was no exception. As a present, my girlfriend got me a remote-controlled vibrating bullet.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
This is where I'm always curious about what people's, what are people's interests here?
Oh, yeah.
We had seen them on TikTok and we'd always wanted to try it. I was very excited and I quickly got it out of the box, checking the batteries, and started to figure out the best spot for the little guy. This bullet is about the width of a thumb and the length of a finger. So it's definitely little.
Perfect.
So a thumb. Your thumb is
Yeah.
a finger.
Well, is it?
A width of a thumb and the length of a finger. That seems like the same thing.
No, I don't think your thumb is a finger,
Thumbs
though.
are a little
like
fatter.
and your
It's
finger
this
is
combination.
longer. So if it's like thick like a thumb, but it's longer like a finger, I think is what they're trying to say.
All right. A
Hey,
digit.
Siri,
Yeah.
is your thumb a finger?
This wording implies that while the thumb isn't typically regarded as a finger, there is enough evidence of this use to include it in the definition. This is from Lexico.
Okay, stop. While the thumb isn't technically a finger, it's just considered a finger popularly.
Got it.
So
Well,
It's just a special finger.
it's a special finger.
very special
So
finger.
this bullet is about the width of the thumb. I already read that part. Anyway, I find the spot and start walking around with my girlfriend playing around with the buttons.
Oh, God.
Next thing I know, it's inside me like a tampon. There's no strings attached.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I looked at my girlfriend with fear in my eyes because how am I supposed to get this out? We go in the bathroom. I squat. And, man, have you guys ever had to use a Diva cup? This is giving Diva cup energy. We go in the bathroom.
I'm a cup user, but
Yeah.
mine has a pull loop on it.
I
You're not
can't.
supposed to pull it though because it's like about tension. Isn't
Yeah.
it about suction?
Yeah,
sucks.
but you can pull it a little bit, and then the way that this one is constructed is really genius because the pull is connected to the top lip of the cup.
Oh,
And
so
down
it
through a
tugs
hole
it,
in the center.
pulls that
So it
suction.
tucks it and that releases the section and then you can pull it out.
Should
Yep.
probably try that one.
It's
'cause
really
mine
it's a flex cup. It's
is-
really
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, flex cup.
I
Oh,
have
yeah.
I haven't purchased like a tampon or menstrual product in years. I am
Yeah.
such a diehard cupper, but I
Yeah.
had the same problem with the Diva cup that just had like a little stick on it.
Yeah, that's what I own still, and it's still like I had to call my sister crying.
Mm-hmm.
I almost drove from Milwaukee to Madison so that she could take it
Fish
out
it
for
out.
me.
Yeah.
Because I was like in full on tears. Of course, my body is like clamping down on this thing. Like,
Yeah.
I know you want it, you can't have it.
Your
And
That's
I
what
wear
he's getting
press on
right now.
nails a lot
Yeah.
and have
Oh.
had a scary experience of taking out my cup and realizing I was missing a fingernail and not knowing if it was in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It fell in the toilet.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
solved it. But it's like all the more reason I will not use the ones where you have to like go in and hook
Yeah.
around it and pull it out of your cervix. Like, I don't mind the process of doing that. I'm just so terrified I'm going to lose a fingernail in my vaginal
Yep.
cavity that I like the flex cup with the little ring. So
Easier.
keep that
Oh,
keep
okay,
that
here we
on
go.
your plan. But yeah, that's here we go. Let's see.
We go into the bathroom. I squat in the bathtub and try to pull it out. I can't even touch it. My girlfriend starts yelling, push, push, like you're giving birth. But the thing doesn't even budge. I'm starting to panic now. We had both had some wine and neither of us could drive to the ER, nor did we want to go to the ER.
Right.
Feel that energy. Talk about ruining your anniversary.
Mhm.
So we moved this party to the bedroom. I'm laying on the bed with my legs up. My arms are acting like stirrups.
Like
Man,
the
this is
like the
exactly like that
urinary
picture. It's perfect.
Oh
This is also how you try to get a sex toy out.
It's stuff like this that convinces me we live in a simulation and that
Yeah.
finding that picture
Coincidences.
populated, like told the algorithm to quickly write this confession. We live in a simulation. The coincidences are just
Like
code.
there's so many uses for this position.
Mm-hmm.
My arms are acting like stirrups while my girlfriend is performing removal surgery. With both index fingers, she's trying to grab the bullet like a claw machine. I wonder if she has fancy fingernails.
I
too,
wonder.
for this. After a few tries, her fingers slips her finger slipped and pressed the button on the bullet, turning it on. She couldn't find the remote to turn it off, and we were worried that if she tried to press the button again, it would push it up further. So she continued her claw machine. She continued to reassure me that we would get it out because nothing could really be lost up there as it wasn't in my uterus. So we kept going.
What if this is how they finally orgasm?
You found your
I'm waiting for it.
G-spot.
I need this to be the climax of the story.
I
Okay?
know, I want it so bad.
Finally, after about 10 minutes of her performing extraction surgery, I feel the little pull and it's out.
Woo!
No coming though.
Oh.
Needless to say, we didn't have sex that night. Things were a little tender.
Oh my God.
Anyway, thanks for reading my story and for being my favorite podcast. If you have any tips about having sex while on SSR eyes, did I say that right?
Yeah, SSR
I'm all
eyes.
ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my yet another thing they forget to discuss during sex ed.
Sure
It's
do.
hard.
Same with the way that birth control always screws with your
Sex drive and
sex drive. That's
I mean,
what I hate about it.
They just
I
don't
don't-
talk about women's hormones at all because they're very complex
and
Yeah.
very understudied.
and very
Yeah.
understudied.
And little things big things can really screw with them, like SSRIs. So,
I can't
well, I'm sorry
imagine.
I'm sorry that even though you lost your toy in there, you didn't even get like a surprise
all this and
from
you didn't
it.
even come.
Yeah.
I don't like the I don't think I would like the sensation of a vibrator up that far where you can't even get it.
Yeah, what's the
That's
point?
up
Like,
to-
what was the purpose of it? Is it not supposed to go in there? Like, that doesn't seem logical.
It
Maybe
sounds a
man
little
made
bit
it.
more like a clitoral toy because if
Yeah.
it doesn't have an easy means to remove it, it can be a little
Yeah.
bit trickier or more dangerous to actually have it inside you. But
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
think it's
I
supposed to
certainly
really go
have
up.
no problem with vibration in there, but as long as I don't have the stress of how do I get this out?
Yeah.
It
So
seems
it's
like
like
it
if
was
I
up
can't
really
grip
far
it-
though.
If I can't grip it while I'm working it, I'm probably not
I
using
hope they
it.
left a review. Like, don't put this inside of you. You will lose it.
Yeah,
and your
yeah.
girlfriend will have to dig it out with her long claw fingers.
Yeah.
with little bows on
Yeah,
them.
with those. Imagine
Oh
those
my
bows going
God.
straight in there to try to.
They're very scratchy.
No,
Yeah.
babe.
That is, I think that in some ways I would be more comfortable with you trying to do it than with my lack of any fingernails
I got
whatsoever.
you. I got
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I appreciate that.
Anytime. I can
I
drive
know
to
my
Wisconsin.
sister would have in a heartbeat pulled that. She would have just gone right in there.
That's
you
a
know,
ride
you got to
right
have somebody
there.
like that in your life who's
You
just
have to.
willing to get in there for you.
You got a good sister.
During
Yeah.
the saga of my missing fingernail, I asked my husband, like, if there's a fingernail in my vagina, would you help me get it out? And he was like, is this a real question? And I was like, yes. And
This
he
is
was
the
like,
kind of question
yeah,
you ask
yeah.
at the altar. Like,
Yeah.
these are the things we need to
Put it
double
in your
check before we
vows.
go here. Yeah. The other story too about the pooping reminds me of a TikTok I saw where a woman, like on her romantic honeymoon trip, they went somewhere a little weird, like it was like in the Himalayas or something in Nepal or in India. And she had to poop in a plastic bag and on a truck on this huge bus full of other tourists.
Mhm.
She had to poop in a plastic bag with her new husband. And so I was like,
That's
those are
love.
the types of things you got to double check. Like, will you go into my hole for me to find this missing object? And will you support me while I poop in a plastic bag? In a
Oh,
bus,
yeah.
please?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. My husband
So.
has cleaned up a couple of my messes before he even proposed. So I was pretty
good.
locked in at that
You
point.
tested it out first.
Yeah. It's like
That's
you've
the kind of-
helped me get out of some shitty drawers. So yeah, I think we're
Literally.
probably fine. Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I think about with like those shows that are like Married at First Sight. It's like
I could never.
you've never
No.
smelled each other's farts.
No, it's why
What
I
the
could
fuck
never
are you
marry
doing?
somebody without living with them first. Like, I need you to know how disgusting I am
Yeah.
before we commit to a lifetime together.
because
Like,
I'm not changing.
I'm
I
not.
wonder if
and
the
neither is
scent
he.
of a fart. I wonder if a scent of someone's fart has ever changed their mind about the relationship. Like a specific scent just gives you the ick, and then you're out.
I don't
Probably.
know. My farts are pretty nasty. Bill's are loud, but mine reek. So together we're like the worst combination. But yeah, anyway, that was amazing. Those are all.
I like that they were picked out for me, the Spooky Lake lady. It seems like they were all like, relevant.
Andrew
Yes.
was very good
They were all
about
wet
that.
for sure.
They were all
They
very
were
wet.
all wet.
Yeah.
And if you want an extra bonus confession, you can subscribe to us on Uncorked. You'll get all of these episodes and our main feed episodes ad-free. You'll get bonus content, and you get a bonus confession with your GAC every month. So right now, for everyone on the regular feed who's not an Uncorked subscriber, we are going to cut to a break to hear some ads. And if you are an Uncorked subscriber, we're going to hear one more little bonus confession from our friend Geo. If you're a renter, and I was a renter for decades, and I can't believe I didn't have access to this when I was renting, so I'm telling you right now, I'd start taking advantage of Built if I were you. Here's the thing. We earn points on groceries, on travel, and practically everything else we buy, but we should also be earning points on rent, one of our biggest monthly expenses. And Built changed the game by letting renters earn high-value points on rent and around their neighborhood.
There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not?
Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/gals. That's joinbilt.com/gals. And make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/gals to start earning points on your rent payments today.
It is cold outside. It is currently 2 degrees where I am.
Yup.
So you're stuck indoors. And this time of year, every cat is also an indoor cat. And when it's this cold outside, I'm an indoor person.
Yep.
And if there's one thing that can really stink up being stuck inside, it is your indoor cat's indoor litter box.
Yep.
Don't let that nasty smell ruin your winter wonderland. Switch to Pretty Litter like Amanda and I did.
We have been Pretty Litter users for years now, and we will never go back. Pretty Litter's non-clumping formula traps odor and moisture. It's ultra absorbent. It's lightweight. It's low dust. And one 6-pound bag works for up to a month. So you're not lugging those massive containers. And Pretty Litter gives me peace of mind because it changes color to indicate early signs of potential illnesses in my cat, like urinary tract infections, kidney issues, and more. These are really, really common conditions, especially as your cats are getting older. So cannot recommend that highly enough. And since Pretty Litter ships for free right to my door, I never run out. I don't have huge kitty litter bags taking up space or causing me to have to go to the gym because they're so heavy and it's so cold out and nobody wants to lug those huge tubs from a store to the car or onto the bus and to your house. It's just
Through the snow and ice.
Oh, it's
uphill
just the
both
worst.
ways.
It's the worst. I love Pretty Litter for just circumventing all of those obnoxious things about litter while also providing like a nice experience for your home so your home's not stinking, and a nice experience for your cat because it helps keep your cat nice and healthy.
Indoor cats and indoor humans agree. Pretty Litter helps my house smell fresh and clean. Go to prettylitter.com/gals to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. That's prettylitter.com/gals to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/gals. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
This episode of Wine and Crime is brought to you by Graza. Listen, we are an olive oil household. We cook with it. We drizzle it on ice cream. We put it on bread. We go through a lot of olive oil. And now that I've met Graza olive oil, it is my go-to olive oil of choice. It is top-notch extra virgin olive oil at an affordable, everyday price. It's always fresh, it's never blended, and made from one kind of olive from one place, the Picual olive from high-end Spain, where over half the world's olive oil is produced. You're so fancy when you're using this. They have 2 different olive oils that come in a super easy-to-use squeeze bottle for sizzling, drizzling, everything in between. They have Sizzle, which is their everyday cooking oil. This can handle the heat with a smoke point of 410 degrees Fahrenheit. And is super great for baking, sauteing, and basically anything you cook. They also have drizzle. I love this. This is a super punchy, flavorful finishing oil that can be used to whip up a salad dressing, dip a baguette, drizzle over ice cream. In my box, they sent me this little like recipe book of soups that you can make that like incorporate the olive oil. I'm obsessed. It's so good. It's the best olive oil you will ever taste.
We made a very midwintery meal the other night using our new Graza olive oil. It was fettuccine in like kind of a buttercream sauce with panko crusted chicken and spinach like melted in there. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I had Parmesan cheese. Mm-hmm. I put a little bit in, but like I normally just dump all that in. The olive oil made this dish so dang good.
So flavorful.
So flavorful. I ate definitely more pasta than I should have right before bed, but
so good. Worth it.
I don't regret it. I'm excited to make everything with it. Also, I don't have like the best ventilation in my kitchen, so the fact that the sizzle olive oil has such a high smoke point, very much appreciated in my household. We're not setting off any smoke alarms anymore. So here's what you get. You will get 10% off your first order of any olive oil on their site, but I wholeheartedly recommend that Graza starter kit. You'll receive 2 squeezy bottles of olive oil, so you got your sizzle for cooking and your drizzle for finishing with an extra kick of flavor. Plus, they'll include 2 refill cans. So if you run out of olive oil, there's no need to buy a new bottle itself. Graza makes it easy to be eco-friendly with their refill cans that are perfectly portioned for your sizzle and drizzle squeeze bottles. You can also find their bottles and refill cans on shelves at Whole Foods or a Target near you. Both the Squeezy Duo and the refill cans seal in freshness and block out light to maximize flavor and quality. And this is flavor and quality that you can absolutely taste. It is it's delicious. You got to try it.
So good. So head to graza.co and use GALS to get 10% off your Graza starter kit and get to cooking your next chef quality meal. That's graza.co, graza.co, and use GALS to get 10% off your Graza starter kit. All right, Lucy, what? I hope you don't have a new fear for me because that's been basically this entire episode. Geo's mere presence and depth of knowledge, pun intended, has struck fear into my heart. So what do you got?
So, I have 2. My segment's a little short today. I've got an obit and a story that I had actually been saving for a drunk dive. But there isn't a whole lot of information.
Okay.
So, like, you're welcome. I'm going to share this with you now. And I chose it because it's not lake involved, but it's like pool involved.
Oh,
it's
God.
definitely
It's
wet.
It counts.
It's definitely gross. And I also, Geo, I don't actually know this about you, but you seem like a person who appreciates history.
Oh, love a history. Love a good history story. Yep.
So today I'm going to tell you about the true story of the Erfurt latrine disaster.
Oh, no.
Oh, watch out. This might qualify for Spooky Lake Month, Lucy. You'll have to be a guest.
Twist my fucking arm.
I would love to see that.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going way, way back to July 1184.
Okay.
So when I read you the people, the names, the places, none of this is going to sound familiar because it's a billion years ago.
Yep.
Literally the Dark Ages.
Yeah. So just very, very dark. July 1184, King Henry VI of the Hohenstaufen dynasty, who was the ruler of Erfurt and the future Holy Roman Emperor.
Okay.
So Erfurt, by the way, is in modern day Germany, if that gives you some like geographical context. So he convoked, never heard that word before, what's called a Hoftag or an informal assembly. And they think that this would have been within the Petersburg Citadel in, again, what is now modern day Germany.
So does convoked mean like erected, made, built?
He basically called a meeting.
Oh, okay.
So the gathering
He
aimed...
erected a meeting.
He got erect over a meeting. His dick was very warm. It froze to his throne.
Got it.
Just kidding. It was July. So the gathering aimed to address a dispute between 2 fucking scoundrels. We have the Archbishop of Mainz, whose name was Conrad of Wittelsbach, and Ludwig III, Landgrave of Thuringia.
Wow. We need to go back to like Game of Thrones naming culture because this
Welcome
is
to
amazing.
Genovia.
Welcome to Genovia.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. The precise origins of the two men's bitterness have been lost to history, but land disputes were very common gripes. But we do know that they were being like little bitches about whatever they were complaining about. So Henry was like, we're going to squash this.
Yep.
This was also a time of political tensions among the empire's patchwork of bishoprics, princedoms, and myriad city-states. So the Roman Empire is expanding at this time. All of these areas are just kind of like...
They're squabbling over land and power. And
things are very much in transition, and there's just a lot of little pockets of like governance and whatever. It's kind of all over the place. So really their beef could have been about almost anything.
Yeah.
Probably land. So this beef had intensified to the point that King Henry VI was forced to intervene while he was traveling through the region during a military campaign against Poland. Henry decided to call a diet, which is the deliberative body of the Holy Roman Empire, in Erfurt where he was staying. He invited all of the nobles across the Holy Roman Empire to this meeting. So there were like hundreds of people. The Hoftag commenced on the morning of July 26th, with many delegates arriving the day before. It's important to note at this point how the latrines of the day were constructed. Medieval latrines, primitive and often perilously constructed, were a far cry from the luxuries of modern sanitation, often amounting to nothing more than large pits where sewage was gathered.
yeah, and sometimes they would build like a shitty little tower over the pit so you could be like elevated above the pit to like shit in a wooden hole that then goes down into the shit pit.
Oh no, but think of it this way. The basement of this castle was just
Poop.
a poop.
Do you guys remember those castle books when you were a kid where they'd like cut the castle in half and then you'd be able to see everything and then all these little people? Yeah, I always was fascinated by the latrines in those diagrams.
I think I had a Titanic one of that. The like cross section.
That's so cool.
They made airplane
Titanic
ones.
ones.
Yeah. I was always into the castle ones, but I must have missed out on some of the other ones. But okay, keep going. Got this latrine.
I was into the castle ones. So all of the nobles were gathered in this one room that was on the second floor of the castle. So we have the second floor, the first floor, and then the poop floor. Just as the assembly began, the wooden floor of the deanery where the nobles were sitting broke under the stress, and people fell down through the first floor into the latrine in the cellar. Between 60 and 100 people died. Either crushed by the falling woodwork, drowned in the horrific contents of the latrine, or asphyxiated by the unholy fumes emitted by the rotting sewage.
Yeah.
The dead...
This qualifies, Lucy. You got it. This is it. This is a spooky lake topic. That's a lake of poop that killed 100 people.
Yeah. The dead included, again, you're not going to recognize any of these names. Count Gosmar III of Ziegenhain. Count Friedrich I of Audenburg. Burgrave Friedrich I of Kirchberg. Count Heinrich I of Schwarzburg. Count Burgrave Burkhard von Wartburg. Count Hansteiner of Liechtenstein. And Berenger von Wellingen.
Oh.
I liked how your accent got more intense throughout that list.
I had to.
You had to.
That was natural. King Henry was said to have survived only because he sat in an alcove with a stone floor and was later saved using ladders. So since he was the guy like running the meeting, he had a special little throne that was like up a little bit and he didn't fall through the floor. But because the rest of the floor was gone, he had to be like rescued. He was just like sitting there for like a long time.
With the stench floating up and all these people dying below him in the shit pit lake.
Yeah.
Holy
That's really
shit.
gross. Gross. No wonder people call Spooky Lake Month gross, because that's it.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's great.
It says he departed as soon as possible afterwards. He got the fuck out of there
Yeah.
because it was his party to begin with. Landgrave Louis III of Thuringia survived, and Conrad, the other scoundrel, also survived by clinging to the iron window railings.
So the two that were beefing didn't even die in this
No,
The
meeting?
beef continued.
everyone else died.
Wow. That's amazing.
This
Okay.
is
It
so
reminds me
fucked up.
of my constant quest to try to find a well horror story. Like I want a horror story involving a well of some kind, and this is pretty close.
You a big The Ring fan?
I love The Ring.
Me
Yeah.
I
too.
love The Ring. Love The Ring.
Amazing.
Love the ring.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
so
right.
good.
We'll find you.
I'll,
some.
that's
keep
where
I'll keep my ear to the
Yeah.
ground for a well.
I need like something horrible that happened in a well. There's like a well in Japan that's pretty famous, but
Okay.
it's always like, it's no offense to true crime or to like haunted stories, but Spooky Lake Month isn't really about either of those things. And so anytime I discover it, it's always in those categories, which doesn't really count.
You're looking for science.
Yeah, we're looking for like science or history.
Okay. I'll keep my ear to the ground for that for you.
But I love it. That was great. That
Oh,
was
I got
great.
one
I'm
little-
gonna look into it.
I got a little more.
Oh, God.
The odorous catastrophe did not hinder King Henry's political ascent. In the years following the Erfurt latrine disaster, his influence continued to grow until he became the Holy Roman Emperor in
It launched him into
1191.
stardom.
Wow.
He led the so-called German Crusade of 1197, held the King of Scotland, Richard the Lionheart, to ransom, and expanded his realm to include Sicily. So
Wow.
it could be said that God himself spared him that day
It could be.
to expand the Holy Roman Empire and also ensure that his reign dramatically reshaped politics in Europe. Like, because of this, because the people who died, because the people who survived, that shaped Europe,
That's
the
so
world,
bizarre.
the Holy Roman
Yeah.
Empire.
This shit disaster had a grand effect.
Yeah,
Yeah, the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
A la
The butterfly
pool.
effect.
Yeah.
totally.
Brutal.
Yuck. Hated that. Okay.
Okay,
I loved it.
I'm going to wrap us up with the
I
obituary.
thought it was great.
I know, I love it. I had been saving that story in a tab on my phone,
For like months.
no, for probably a year and a half.
You should see my Spooky Lake list, like the crazy list of all of the topics. I have like 300 potential topics for Spooky Lake Month. And it's a great list. It's absolutely wild.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love our jobs. Okay. Rounding us out with a really sweet obituary for obituary area. This one was sent in by Caroline. And I'm guessing at how to pronounce the last name. So if it's incorrect, very sorry.
Apologies.
Okay. Carla R. Fess, age 92, of Camillus. I don't remember what, I think New York. Would like to let you know that her time shared on Earth with you has come to an end. She wishes her time with you now be filled with happy and joyful memories. That's weirdly worded. On December 1st, 2024, Carla received a call to travel to a new and divine destination. True to form, she was late. She had to answer the phone, look for her purse, feed the cat, and decide what color dickie to wear.
Oh!
To her delight upon arrival, Carla was reunited with her husband, Robert Fess, parents, Kenneth and Rose Upson, and all the dogs and cats she has ever loved. She never found her purse. Unable
I feel
to
this.
Unable to travel with her at this time and missing her greatly are her daughters, Holly Partridge of Vermont, Ruth Morris of Camillus, and Connie Fess of Alaska. Grandson Trevor Partridge, granddaughter Rory Partridge, great-grandchildren Flo and Annie, and Putty, her seemingly immortal and loving four-legged companion.
Oh.
Putty.
I like grandchildren Flo and Annie.
Yeah.
Carla relished her friends' life and the activities she shared with them. Biking, downhill and cross-country skiing at the Onondaga Ski Club. Canoeing, hiking, dancing at Top Hats. Entertaining, dinner and bridge club. Gathering with her lady friends and playing games, sequence. and sipping a glass of sweet wine along with giving over 25 years of healing touch to her loyal clientele as a relaxation therapist.
Oh.
To honor Carla's life, a celebration of life will be held on Thursday, December 12th, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the Emmanuel United Methodist Church. Burial will be private. In lieu of flowers, contributions may be made to Spay and Neuter Syracuse.
Aw, cute.
Super short and sweet. I made it short because I'm ill.
Very sick. Poor girl.
But
But
yeah.
that was lovely. It's nice to get
Carla.
one. It's nice to get one that isn't only snark, because we've been getting a lot of snark obituaries, which I love. But
But this was just sweet. She had to decide what color Dickie to wear, so she was late for heaven.
I hope she was buried in one of her favorite Dickies, because
Yeah.
I bet she was.
I'm here for a Dickie. Bring them back.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
I had a Dickie.
Love it.
I wore it.
I want a moo too.
Oh, yeah.
A Dickie under
A
a,
Dickie and a
moo-moo.
moo It's a good combo.
I was
Let's
wearing a
go.
Dickie on my senior pictures, my high school senior
Oh,
photos.
yeah, with the little collar under your sweater.
So cute.
So cute. I love it.
Love it.
Well,
Well-
Gio, we cannot thank you enough for joining us today
Yeah.
and regaling us with
All the spooky
everything.
things.
Yeah, this was
I love
amazing.
it.
And like I said, I'm going, if you have alerts of like 1 million likes on your content from one account, it's me, and I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I'm excited for it. Can't wait.
Great. I
Tell
love
the
it.
people-
I really do feel like you will, in your field, you will appreciate the Spooky Lake Month vibe. And
I'm
it will
ready.
freak you out. And
Yeah.
I'm excited that I'm going to scare your pants off. So,
Great.
Amazing. Tell the people
Different
one more
way.
time where they can find you.
yeah, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. You can look up Spooky Lakes or look up Geodosaurus. Unfortunate name choice. It was from OkCupid in 2012. It
I
just
love it.
stuck.
That's that is
And
some
yeah,
lore
but mostly
that
if you
I'm
just look up Spooky
for.
Lakes, you'll run into me on the internet. So,
Perfect.
cool.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you guys.
for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me.
Yeah.
And we'll see the rest of you next month for another installment of Gossip at the Corpse Cart.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.